This is the blank that we worked on before, and one thing that you'll notice is that I did add a veneer. And when you're actually making your rock purse and you're forming this shell around the rock, you'll want to consider whether you want to add the veneer before, during your first curing, or after. In this instance, I did it after and just kind of put a sheet over and did some decoration. But you may want, depending on the kind of design you have, you may want to put the veneer first before you actually make your cut. But that's something else that you could consider. So let's take a look at this blank. This is pretty much the blank we made in the first part of the tutorial. I've added one string type option here, which I'll talk to you about. So this is the blank, and you'll recall that it's just pieces that fit together. And if we don't put something to string this with, there's not enough tension for this to stay put. So you actually have to add some kind of stringing material so that you can have the piece hang together and not, not end up losing one of these pieces. So as I mentioned, you have some design choices, and the first one is the orientation of the stringing, how you want your stringing material to actually work. So because this is a demonstration, I'm showing the two options in one on this one blank. The first option is to put a tube on the outside of your piece. And how this would work is, this is simply a basic tube, and I'll show that to you in a moment. And here's a stringing material, which is just a leather sample, and I've knotted the end and put a decorative bead here. And how you would work this is you would simply pass the leather through the bottom piece and then the top piece, and it would close like that. And then of course it would go up and around and through this other side if we were using that particular option. So I hope that makes sense to you. This is just a demonstration piece, so it would obviously be much longer so that it could hang around your neck or loop on a belt, and then you'd have a companion piece on this side and you'd simply wrap it around and loop it through that. So there's an option for you, and again, you have unlimited however you'd like to finish this with adding beads or other decorative elements. But that's also a way to string it, and then it would operate, just move this up, it would just operate like that. So that's an option. So to make this particular option, what you need to do is to actually create a tube of clay. And this is what I've done is I've gotten, this is just a bamboo skewer, which is close in size to the stringing material. So if you had a wider stringing material, you would want to use a bigger bamboo skewer. But I've simply made a tube, and then I'll just take that off, and you would place with liquid clay the tube, and then you would cut the tube where this cut is to align with this cut, and then you'd simply have a tube like that on each side. And that's pretty straightforward. So that's one option. One of the things that, whether you're using this external sort of method of stringing or you're going through the interior, there's lots of options for the stringing materials. You can use a macrame type cord like this, which comes in a lot of different colors. You could braid it, so that's a choice. You could use a chain if that works for you. You could use leather, which is what I used on the piece that I showed you at the beginning. You could use a ribbon, and you could use something like a rubberized Abuna cord, which I'll show you here because this is actually the one that we're going to work with. So the reason I show you that you have lots of different options on what kind of stringing material to use is because you have to be conscious of the size, for example, of your either your holes or in this case the tube, because you can see here This isn't big enough to put a Buna cord through. So if I were wanting to, to put this particular cord through, if I wanted to have a size that would accommodate this cord, I'd have to be sure that I used, you know, a bamboo skewer or whatever I was using to make my tube with, make it big enough so that the stringing material will pass through. The same thing for if you're making it, having it go through the purse, you'll want to make sure that any openings that you use are sized so that your material is going to fit easily through those openings. You also want to check to make sure that whatever you use to finish your holes will accommodate the size of cording or stringing material that you're going to use. So you have lots and lots of options for how you actually want to orient your stringing material and then the type of stringing material that you use. The next design choice that we're going to talk about, so we're going to move away from this one right here because there's not too much more to talk about, so you're going to kind of have to ignore that I'm using a demo piece here that has this outside, and we're going to now focus on stringing it through the center because there's a couple of things I wanted to mention about this. The first is that we've got to make some holes in the rock purse. And I just use a manual drill, and I have several different choices of sizes. I actually have two choices of sizes to use for these drills. And you can see one's pretty large and one's fairly small. The first thing I do is to check my stringing material, and in this case I'm going to be using Buna cord. So I want to check it against the two sizes of drills I have and make sure that I choose one that's close. I actually don't want to make it too big. This one is just simply too big. So I'm not going to be able to use that one. I am going to use the smaller one, and I know that I'm going to have to do a little bit of refinement because it's really, they're not exactly the same size. But I'd rather be a little bit smaller in the drill size and give myself some room to work with than go too big and not be able to finish, to finish the hole well and to have it not look as good as I would want to. So I'm going to use the smaller drill. And I'll just show you, I've already placed 3 of the holes here, but I'll show you that I have marked on my rock purse at the top and the bottom. I've just used a Sharpie marker where I want the holes placed. And then it's simply a matter of taking my drill at that hole, that placement, and just drilling the hole through. Okay. I know that it'll now accommodate the cord because that's going through, and I think you can see that come through. It's a little bit tight, so I might open that up a little bit more. Before I do that, I would like to talk with you about how to finish this hole. So you could leave it just like that, but I don't think it looks that refined. So there's several options for how you may want to finish, the end here. And the most obvious choice is to take a clay, just a little clay, fashion a little clay piece there. I've done this in green just so you can see it. And, put that over, and that would look quite nice, as a finishing element. You could use the scrapbooking eyelets, which I think are a nice choice. And make sure this one has to be opened up just a little bit. But you can see I've got the scrapbooking eyelet here, and that makes a really nice finishing piece. You'd want to make sure that you have the sizing complete on these, and then when you're ready to finish this, you'll actually put the eyelet in. I do put a little bit of super glue or some kind of hypo cement or E6000, slight little bit in this hole to make sure that that eyelet is going to stay placed. You could use something like an O-ring, a little Buna O-ring or something like that. So let me open this up just a little teeny bit more. And see if I can get this eyelet to fit in there. And there you go. And you would glue that down. And then I previously placed the other eyelets that I wanted to have that I wanted to use to finish this piece. All right, so we'll put this back together, and I'll show you how we string it up in a couple of other finishing pieces. So I'm actually going to use Buna cord, which is a rubber cord. It's actually an industrial, it's used for industrial purposes. And there are O-rings and grommets, and this rubberized stringing material has a little teeny bit of stretch to it. And it comes in a variety of sizes. This happens to be a 3mm size, and you can find these online at Fire Mountain Gems or something, someplace like that. A lot of the beading shops or shops that sell polymer clay also sell Buna cord or rubberized cord. So I don't have the full measurement here. One of the things you'll want to do is be sure you measure, how much you need for the clasp, and how far you want it to hang, and you'll measure your stringing material accordingly. So this is just a sample size here. So in order to finish this, I've added the holes. I've added my finishing piece at the top. In this case, I used some scrapbooking eyelets. I'll open this up, and I'll just start to string this through. Okay. And I'll go to the other side and string it through. And then we'll just pull these through. I have added a little grommet onto the end just to give it a little bit of interest. And then you have moved it through, and it moves up and down. Okay, and that gives it enough tension to stay together. You've made an adjustable cord. I hope you could see that. Let me do that again just in case that was not in the frame there. So I've simply got a larger size Buna O-ring that will accommodate both of these strings, and you'll pass one through one way, and then you'll pass the other one through the other way. There. And it has just enough tension that it makes this adjustable. And you could add a couple, if you like that look a little bit better, you could add a couple of these O-rings. And then the last piece is how to finish these ends. Because this is Buna cord, it's really difficult to actually knot the ends of these. You can, but it's a little bit difficult, and because it's kind of rubberized, it doesn't always hold the knot very well. If this were leather, I would definitely knot it. But in this instance, because it's Buna cord, I've actually made a couple of end caps. And all I did was take a small piece of Buna cord, just as much as I would need, and I fashioned an end cap from each, 2 end caps. And this can be cured in your oven. It is temperature safe. And I simply made these just quick little end caps and made the hole large enough that I could slide the Buna cord in. One thing that you will have to do is glue this cording in. So if we were going back to our piece here, I would take each end, pull a little bit of super glue in it, and make sure that was all the way in. Glue the other end in. And one thing I do want to tell you about this, you want to leave enough. See how there's about that much of the cord where my fingernail is? There's about that much of the cord going in so that you have a nice glue surface. If it's too short, you won't have enough glue there to hold it. So you've gone ahead and you've created a really nice looking clasp with some custom end pieces. And I think that looks really nice. So that's basically the finished, how you would go about finishing the piece. And then of course, so let's just take a look at how that operates again. So you've got a clasp that's adjustable, and then you can slide this open and, you know, stick a little bit of money, you know, a chapstick or something like that inside. And then it has enough tension to hold it closed. And then again, just to recap, you have the other option. Now, if you were using this stringing material, you of course wouldn't have this tube here, right? Because this is just one way that you can go about creating another stringing option for yourself. So that's basically it. Keep in mind that this is a blank, so it is not decorated in any way, shape, or form. So when we go back to look at the one that I did previously, it already has a veneer over it. I've added some paint and some embossing powder. So you would want to go about decorating your rock purse in the way that you that's pleasing to you, and then just follow the same instructions to finish it off. So I hope that you have enjoyed part 2 of this tutorial. It was a long time in coming, so thank you for being patient. I hope you like it. Give me a thumbs up if you do, and please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in seeing more video tutorials. I want to thank you for joining me in my studio. Take care, everybody.